Points 9, 10, and 11 for United St. Kitts and Nevis. Ha!
It's Papa Wheeler. I want to say right now, spread the carpet. The king is coming. Time to rally with the king.
Yes, man. It's the king and Papa Wheeler teaming up for the better St. Thomas's and a greater Nevis. Promise we better days will come.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
They promise to better we condition.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
Life will get better is what they said. In the sunshine we go be instead.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
The people's agenda was a total failure. Now that the time up, they're going non-stop, but everybody's singing the same anthem. Hip hooray, time up for them. My friend, on election day, all you make sure
Knuckle dancing for them.
go and spread the word from door to door.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. James, stand firm and sing.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. George's, go and do your thing.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. John's, sing the anthem.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. Paul's, let's do it again.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. Thomas's, I beg all you vote for your children.
Knuckle dancing for them.
Come let me rally with CCM.
Knuckle dancing for them.
Not one, not one,
Knuckle dancing for them.
not one, not one,
Knuckle dancing for them.
not one, not one.
Knuckle dancing for them.
Tell them, Cooper, let them hear the truth.
King, the boys of the goddess are voting for you. They're voting for you. Because it's a man of courage. It's a man of guts. It's a man of full representation. You're not back down. You're not back down. He's the best, the king. He's the best. Sean say a vote for you. All the boys are vote for you.
We beg them a break from the high fuel charge.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
They tell us wait on the junior minister in
We're
charge.
still waiting. We're still waiting.
Affordable house rent they say was high, so they go reduce it for you and I.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
The high cost of living continue climbing while they making mockery with taxpayers' money. Two-tone says they're causing too much problem. Hip hooray, time up for them. My friend, on election day, all you make sure
Knuckle dancing for them.
go and spread the word from door to door.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. James, stand firm and sing.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. George's, go and do your thing.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. John's, sing the anthem.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. Paul's, let's do it again.
Knuckle dancing for them.
St. Thomas's, I beg all you vote for your children.
Knuckle dancing for them.
Come let me rally with CCM.
Knuckle dancing for them.
Not one, not one,
Knuckle dancing for them.
not one, not one,
Knuckle dancing for them.
not one, not one.
Come on, time again. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. Here we go. CCM ready and fit for the election. All the visions heading in one direction. 5 more years to keep up the momentum. All on board marching to the same drum. CCM, good soldier, all around the island. On the mark, get ready, you will start. Vote smart, run to the polls and vote for CCM. On the mark, get ready, you will start. Vote smart, run to the polls and vote for CCM. CCM record is one of distinction, looking out for the interest of all division. CCM federal representation, working for the good of this little nation. Without getting our fair share. Development everywhere. On the mark, get ready. You ain't start, vote smart. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. On the mark, get ready. You ain't start, vote smart. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. There's no comparison between us and them. People matter most for the CCM. When it comes to leadership, not better than them. The man Eric Evelyn, he is a gem. Dynamite, Alexis, this great team means business. On the mark, get ready. You ain't start, vote smart. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. On the mark, get ready. You ain't start, vote smart. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. On the mark, get ready. You ain't start, vote smart. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. In Nevis 9, we voting for Mark A.G. Brantley. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. In Nevis 10, we voting for Eric Rohani Villain. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. In Nevis 11, we voting for Alexis Sue Shepard. Run to the polls and vote for CCM. On the mark, get ready. You ain't start, vote smart. Run to the polls and vote for CCM.
It's back we voting. It's back we voting now. Hey. It's back we voting now. Hey. Nevis, I say excuse me. When election coming, I voting for Mark Brantley. He's not just some politician, Brantley is truly taking the country forward, making Nevis look groovy. CCM is the party. Hey, so on election day, if you want to better your country, come to your polling station and put an X for Mark Brantley. For sports and education, don't think easy. This is Nevis next premier, so make no mistake. Mark doing the most. Ain't nobody else here like he and his team. They doing the most. When they come, they're going to beat every party. Mark doing the most. He have the formula to fix the country. So go out and vote. Mark doing the most. CCM is the party now for a better nation. Brantley is the answer. He is the best champion. Go vote for him. Go vote for him now. Brantley is the answer for a better nation. He is the best champion. Go vote for him. Mark doing the most. This is Ashina.
Increase the momentum. 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 Increase the momentum.
There's a stake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Calling a division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. And yeah, he's teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message from me. CCM is the one who we want to represent we. We sticking with CCM party, CCM party, to fight for Queen City. We sticking with CCM party, CCM party, to remove Timothy. To get all we CBI money.
We sticking with CCM.
We're going to battle with the century.
We sticking with CCM.
Alexis Evelyn and Brantley.
We sticking with CCM.
There's no other choice that I see.
We sticking with CCM. We sticking with CCM. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
Remember, the party that has been looking out for the best interests of divisions, CCM party, making sure we get our full share of the CBI money. We sticking with
CCM party. CCM party.
the blue machine ready. We sticking with
CCM party. CCM party.
to bring prosperity. SPLP.
We sticking with
We
CCM.
could even agree the whole treasury.
We sticking with CCM.
The next Prime Minister he'll never be.
We sticking with CCM.
CCM will be celebrating victory. We sticking with CCM. We sticking with CCM. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party. The blue machine ready. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party. The blue machine ready.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
On election day, vote Premier Mark Bantley in constituency number 9, Eric Evelyn in constituency number 10, and Alexis Zouk Jeffers in constituency 11. Vote CCM.
Momentum. 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 Increase the momentum.
We're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. 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 We're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. 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 Look how the sun now raising up, and the crowd now waking up. The atmosphere have vibes, and nothing can break it up. The girl them a wine non-stop. We had the drinks them in a my cup. We gonna party all night, all night. 24 parties we hit in a row. Tonight at the very last show. Before we head out on the road, the girl them a release the load. So let me see your hands up, so everybody know, put your hands up, so if you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 yeah, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready. The girl them a wait all week, figured up on the road like free. The music full of umbrellas, with thousands of chipping feet. Everywhere you look is just food, and everybody in a real nice mood. We gonna party all night, all night. Everyone with painted body, clean credit and tainted body. Nobody wanna dance by themselves, everybody wanna dance on somebody. Well, let me see your hands up, so everybody know put your hands up, so if you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready, yeah, we're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 yeah, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready. Look how the sun now raising up, and the crowd now waking up. The atmosphere have vibes, and nothing can break it up, 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 and nothing can break it up. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, and nothing can break it up. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready, yeah, we're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready.
1 2 mic test. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
We're ready.
Testing for good sounds. Testing, testing. Drop me hammer upon them. How them a ball for murder. And I be say when election call,
On your corner,
like nobody was listening at all.
on your corner.
They share food in butlers and food in brickling to fool the people. And they bring a man who don't understand this and James is struggle. They tell you Castle and Barnaby,
On your corner,
the whole of Fountain and Mount Lily.
on your corner.
They even advertise on CNN. They have the best team, so we should vote for them. But on the 13th of November, they make the country look small. When we cry for help, there was nowhere happy at all. The Benson and Lovely in Fountain for me, I hammer them.
Hammer them,
Sister Joyce in Castle and Barnaby, I hammer them.
hammer them.
Some civil servants campaign openly. They had the assurance Franklin would win handsomely. So they get complacent, you see. Viola win butlers, giving them horrors and hammer them.
Hammer them,
Put your power in brickling to eat the chicken and hammer them.
hammer them. Hammer time, hammer time, hammer time.
Drop me hammer upon them. How them a ball for murder. And I say when election call,
On your corner,
like nobody was listening at all.
on your corner.
They share food in butlers and food in brickling to fool the people. And they bring a man who don't understand this and James is struggle. They tell you Castle and Barnaby,
On your corner,
the whole of Fountain and Mount Lily.
on your corner.
They even advertise on CNN. They have the best team, so we should vote for them. But on the 13th of November, they make the country look small. When we cry for help, there was nowhere happy at all. The Benson and Lovely in Fountain for me, I hammer them.
Hammer them,
Sister Joyce in Castle and Barnaby, I hammer them.
hammer them.
Some civil servants campaign openly. They had the assurance Franklin would win handsomely. So they get complacent, you see. Viola win butlers, giving them horrors and hammer them.
Hammer them,
Put your power in brickling to eat the chicken and hammer them.
hammer them.
Country about food, brickling people start to whine, and then all of them shout out it's hammer time.
Hammer time,
I tell you all of them shout out it's hammer
hammer
time.
time.
They tell the people up in St. John,
On your corner,
Testing.
you gonna be safe with Dr. Linton.
on your corner.
But the
One,
people know
two,
that
one,
the
two,
record show
mic
he don't
test.
care for them at all. Otherwise he would have glad to go back in the hospital.
1, 2. This is the voice of the Concerned Citizens Movement Party.
And Congress is just like old fox.
1, 2.
They forget it's the same old people they tell. Vote for secession, on Nevis go catch
Good
them.
evening, good evening, good evening.
Power. They please-
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the good people of Chicken Stone. Good evening to the good people of Pond Hill, Meads Pasha, Cox, Beaumont, Claygot. Good evening to all of you who are listening to this meeting this evening via WhatsApp, Facebook, and all of the various online services that you have in your home. This is the voice of the Concerned Citizens Movement, and we are here this evening at Chicken Stone in Gingerland for the first of several public meetings that the Concerned Citizens Movement will be having over the next few weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, as is customary, we shall start this evening's meeting with a prayer. It is customary for the Concerned Citizens Movement to start all of its meeting with a prayer. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening to seek your wisdom, your courage, your continued blessings on all of us here who will speak this evening, on all of the people who are listening to my voice this evening, on all of those who are traveling from far and near to be here with us this evening. As we gather to discuss matters affecting the island and people of Nevis, we ask for your continued guidance and your continued blessing. In Jesus' name we pray. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing what is probably the biggest and most important election that this federation will ever see. It is a very important election. And it is important for this reason. This election will decide the direction that these two islands go when this election is over. Where Nevis go after this election? Where does St. Kitts go after this election? You, the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis, have that decision to make. But this evening, my focus is going to be on the good people of Nevis, because this election is vitally, vitally important to all of us here in Nevis. This election is about Nevis. This is totally about Nevis, and it is important that we all rally around one message. One message. And what is that message? It is fair share for Nevis. Fair share for Nevis. That is the main message that you will hear coming from this platform this evening and all of the other evenings that we are having meetings and town hall. Because it is important that you understand what this election is about. And in my view, all of us as Nevisians, at home and abroad, must rally under this cause, fair share for Nevis. I actually believe that in this election, there should not have been any opposition at all, because this election is about Nevis. We should be speaking with one voice. We must be speaking with one voice throughout this entire election. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is important that when this election is over, that all three seats are speaking with one voice from Nevis. All three must be speaking with one voice. We cannot afford to have a dissenting voice after these elections are over. We need all Nevisians, whether you used to support one party or the other. This is not about one party or the other. This election is strictly about Nevis getting its fair share. And we want to ensure that when the time comes, that Nevis is speaking with one voice. That is what this election is about, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. That Nevis is speaking with one voice. Very important. I understand that there are some persons who are thinking of not going out to vote for this election. I want to appeal to all of you every single Nevision that can vote, whether you're home or abroad. It is vitally important that you come out and vote for this election. It is vitally important that you encourage your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your aunts, your friends to come out and vote in this election. This is a very, very important election. We have no control over what happens in St. Kitts, but we have total control over what happens here in Nevis. And it is very important that all of us send a message of unity and strength from the Nevis end. Very important. We would have seen a descending voice in 2011, 2012, 2013, and we all know what transpired with that. Let us not fall back into that trap again. It is very, very important that you vote all 3 CCM candidates in these upcoming elections. Very important. Put away your differences. Put away how you feel about Tom, Dick, or Harry. That is of no moment in this election. We must speak with one voice. We must send a very clear message that Nevis intends to get its fair share on the unity construct with the People's Action Movement. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of speakers lined up this evening. My job is just to chair this evening's proceedings. So I want to, at this point, call on our first speaker to address you this evening, Mr. Stedman Truss.
Hammer time, hammer time, hammer time.
Drop me hammer upon them. How them a ball for murder. And I be say when election call,
Hold your corner,
like nobody was listening at all.
hold your corner.
They share food in butlers and food in brickling to fool the people. And they bring a man who don't understand this and James is struggle. They tell you Castle and Barnaby,
Hold your corner,
the whole of Mountain and Mount Lily.
hold your corner.
They even advertise on CNN. They have the best team, so we should vote for them. But on the 13th of November, they make the country look small. When we cried for help, there was no happy at all. The Benson and Lovely in Fountain for me, I hammer them.
Hammer them,
Sister Joyce in Castle and Barnaby, I hammer them.
hammer them.
Some civil servants campaign openly. They had the assurance Franklin would win handsomely. So they get complacent, you see. Viola in butlers giving them horrors and hammer them.
Hammer them,
Put your power in Bricklin to eat the chicken and hammer them.
hammer them.
Country of a food, Bricklin people start to rhyme, and then all of them shout out, it's hammer time.
Hammer time,
I tell you, all of them shout out, it's hammer time. They tell the people up in St. John's,
hold your corner,
they go be safe with Dr. Linton.
hold your corner.
But the people know that the record show he don't care for them at all. Otherwise he would have glad to go back in the hospital. They tell the old people up in Cork,
Hold your corner,
Malcolm Gishard is just like old fox.
hold your corner.
They forget it's the same old people they tell. Vote for secession, only this go catch real hell. They want to get in power, they're pleading with one and all. But when we cried for help, there was no one happy at all. I put Imagine Bar to play she park and hammer them.
Hammer them,
Tell Bobsy in Brown Hill to go for the kill and hammer them.
hammer them.
Some civil servants campaign openly. They had the assurance Lincoln would win handsomely. So get complacent, you see. With cuckoo in chop strong and moon in chop strong and hammer them. I put sisters to take their money and hammer them. Country above food, St. John's people start to rhyme, and then all of them shout out it's hammer time.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, he's plain to see. I hear he's teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message for me. CCM is the one who we want to represent we.
Good night to Gingerland. Good night, CCM people. It is indeed good to be back at Chicken Stone to bring the message of the CCM, your party, the only party in this country that stands up for its people 365 days per year. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here this evening on what should not have been happening. But we all follow the news and we know the situation that has led us to this point. In 2020, you, the people of Nevis, elected 3 young men to go to Bastia to do a job. They went to Bastia and they started the job. And somehow, somewhere, somebody else thought that they had the authority to fire somebody that you hired. So I'm saying to all of us this evening, when the time comes shortly, we need to send a message loud and clear that CCM means what it says. And so I will ask each one of us to go to the polls and vote for CCM. You cannot afford, Nevis cannot afford to go to the other party, because you'd have heard them. What Nevis want more money for? So that they are telling us, if by some strange phenomena they want to go to Bastia, Nevis will be dead, because as far as they're concerned, Nevis does not want any money. But ladies and gentlemen, understand this. I have a different take. But let me give a little history. This is not the first time that a party from Nevis went and joined with a party from St. Kitts. In fact, this is the 3rd time it is happening. But there's a difference. The first two times, the party that joined with St. Kitts came back and gave us a big fat 0 in terms of a check. Nothing at all. A big fat 0. But then, here comes CCM for the first time, joined with a party in St. Kitts. And what have CCM done? CCM said, we demand our fair share. And let me tell you, we have not received a fair share yet. So it means we must send them back to complete the job that we gave them to do. As I'm asking all under the sound of my voice to make sure that when the time comes, the people of Nevis send Mark Brantley, Alexis Jeffers, and Eric Evelyn back to Bastia to fight for Nevis. We want people with backbone, people who will stand up. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we can look at this impasse in two ways. We can look at it in two ways. Some people say, oh, because we can't get our way, we want too much money, that's why the thing break up. But I prefer to look at it this way. Because we have strong leadership, strong representation in Bastia, who refuse to accept nonsense, they walked away. They walked away from their salary. They walked away because it was a corrupt situation they were under. And so I believe that the representatives for CCM in Bastia should be applauded. They have proven themselves to be men of their words, and that is what we need in this day and age.
Mark Brantley, a year in a place in a big up.
Ladies and gentlemen, when we send Mark Brantley and Alexis and Eric to Bastia, we know exactly what we are getting.
Mark Brantley, a year in a place in a big up Alexis Jeffers and Eric Evelyn.
We can go to sleep knowing that these men are doing their very best for Nevis. We can go to sleep knowing we will not wake up tomorrow and hear about some deal under the table that they've made. And so we can be proud as a party that we have men that we can send to Bastia to represent us. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that you will hear soon and very soon the other party coming and whispering in your ears. But you know them. You know what they stand for. This situation presented a glorious opportunity for them to stand up for Nevis. They could have stood up and said, look, although I don't agree with CCM, for this thing for Nevis, we will stand head and shoulders with CCM. What did they do? Instead, they started to blame CCM. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not leadership. That is not the representation you want in Bastia. We understand, ladies and gentlemen, that this situation, this representation is serious business. And serious business, you need serious men and women to take care of serious business. And I'm to say to you, without fear or favor, without any water in my mouth, that we have the three best representatives to go to Bastia. And so I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, don't get carried away with the noise. Don't get carried away with the gossip. You are in good hands when you put your vote for CCM whenever the time comes.
CCM, go with it.
CCM is your party. And I'm asking all the people in Gingerland, you may have voted for NRP last time, but you have seen with your own eyes what has been done in Gingerland. So you have no choice, ladies and gentlemen, but to vote for Eric Evelyn when the time comes. The same thing for St. John's and St. Paul's in Nevis 9. You have seen, you have experienced what true representation is like. And so when you go to the polls, forget about anything else. Look for the hammer and vote the hammer, Mark Brantley. Over in Nevis 10, that is St. Thomas's, Nevis 11, St. Thomas's and St. James. I have a good feeling about this. I want to believe, ladies and gentlemen, that in St. Thomas's proper, that Alexis Dengue, whoever comes, such a licking, it will be the end of NRP in St. Thomas's. And we know the people in St. James's will not let him down. So I'm excited for when the bell rings. I'm excited for election that comes. Because when the counts are in, we'll hear Nevis 9 CCM, Nevis 10 CCM, Nevis 11 CCM. That is what we want in Nevis. If Nevis is going to continue to progress as it has been doing, imagine what would happen when we get our fair share. Think about it. Look around Nevis. See the development. And we're going to get this 7%. Suppose we get 25%. You could imagine what will happen to Nevis. We will be the envy of the entire world. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we owe it to ourselves to give Nevis the best representation that it can get. And I say the best representation is found in nowhere else and in no one else but the three candidates for the CCM. Ladies and gentlemen, in Gingerland, it is very significant that we start the campaign, the public meetings that is right here in Gingerland, because this is CCM country. Gingerland is CCM country. Gingerland is Eric country. And so we don't want any hiccups. We want everybody, every single one, to ensure that their neighbors, their friends, everybody they know has been registered. And not only registered, because to register and don't vote is defeating the purpose. But we want you to register. And then the morning of the election, we want you to go out early and make your vote, make your mark for the concerned citizen movement.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are depending upon every single soul in Nevis to vote. This is a very, very serious election. And thank God for men of vision, men of stature, men of strength who are able to stand up for what they believe, stand up to the message that they have been preaching all along. This country needs CCM. Nevis needs CCM. Sinkers needs CCM. Let us be good to our country and give the country three honorable men, Alexis, Mark, and Eric. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. May God continue to bless us, and may God continue to bless the concerned citizen movement, your party. Thank you. Good night.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
Thank you, Mr. Trust. Sound words. And you know, Mr. Trust made a very important point, a lot of important points, but this one stood out for me. That the Nevis Reformation Party teamed up with a party in St. Kitts on 2 occasions to form the government. And at no point they brought back anything. Anything. The concerned citizens movement was able, and the NRP have said it over and over and over, to get over 400 million from the federal purse. 400 million. The NRP over 2 terms got nothing. But ladies and gentlemen, not only that, even though we got that amount of money, and you would have seen how it was spent, there are those on the other side who for some strange reason are joining with others to say nothing has happened in Nevis. Nothing. The evidence is clear as to what transpired with that money. You have the Mundo track. You have Newcastle Police Station. you have the hospital, you have OLP, and I could go on and on and on with what was done with that money. But because they are in opposition, they feel the need to lie. But this election, ladies and gentlemen, is not about NRP. I've said it before. This election is about Nevis. So regardless of what they say on the other side, unless they're saying fair share for Nevis, they're not saying anything. They're not saying anything. Because this election is about Nevis. You cannot have a dissenting voice when it comes to this election. It is important that all of you who are listening via the online services, via the radio station, via this platform, that we must, as a people, rally with one voice in this election. Very important. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring to the platform our next speaker. But before we do that, let me apologize for the Honorable Troy Liebert and the Honorable Spencer Brand, who had to attend a function and will be here shortly. But until then, I will call on the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, the representative for St. Thomas's and St. James's in the federal election, the representative for the Concerned Citizens Movement, and man who we expect to get the full support of all the people of St. James's, and of course all the people of St. Thomas's in this election. The Honorable Alexis Jeffers.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They are top 10 boy. We voted for CCM again. CCM go keep it up, up. Just keep it up, up. Keep it up. CCM keep up the momentum. Keep it up. Just keep it up. Keep it up. Nevis, when you're feeling like you can't go on, hold on. Oh, Premier Brandy and the CCM will keep you strong. Hold on, oh. Other politicians want to tear you down, right down, oh. But you cannot.
Thank you very much, DJ. And let me start by saying good night to the entire CCM family here in Chicken Stone. But since we are going far and wide, let me say good night to everyone who is listening this live meeting, this live broadcast, whether you're here in Nevis, whether you're in St. Kitts, whether you're in the region or internationally. I want to say good night to you or good morning or wherever you are, because of course we have citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis all over the world. But it's good to be back here in Chicken Stone. We have been here many a times before. And every time we come here, it feels good. I think the breeze in this area is nice and cool. It feels different when you come to Chicken Stone. And so the CCM Blue Machine has rolled into this area. And we have come tonight to bring a message to you. And as we go throughout this meeting, you'll hear the same refrain, the same message, that we have come back to the people of Nevis. And we have come to you and we are saying that we have come with that one message, that we are seeking to get our fair share out of Bastille. But not only that, we are laying out to you what we will do with our fair share once we get that portion of monies that are due to us. But ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me say we started our campaign last Saturday night down at the Cove. Very nice meeting. Excellent meeting. The reviews were great, coming from all quarters. And you know, people were waiting for the CCM Blue Machine to roll out. And we came. We came back on Thursday night and we laid out to you, the people of Nevis,
and to the entire world what our plans and programs are. We also express the difficulties that we would have faced in Bastille. But when you elected the three of us, that is Mark Brantley, Eric Evelyn, and Alexis Jeffers in 2020,
CCM,
we said to you, vote for the three candidates of the CCM to provide for your proper representation in Bastille. You did so in overwhelming numbers, historic numbers as well. And I will say to you that your three representatives would have gone to Bastille and would have done an excellent job of representing not only through the work we would have done through our ministries, but also to stand up in Bastille and said to the former Prime Minister, listen, if you're not going to give us what is rightfully yours, we are willing to walk away from a team unity government that we would have helped to form. And we formed that government and we felt good about it in the first instance because all hopes were there. All of the prescription was there that we will get what is rightfully yours. You recall that Charlestown Accord? It was signed by the Honorable Van Samry, the late Van Samry of the CCM party, the leader then. It was signed by Sean Richards, the leader of the People's Action Movement. And it was signed by the former Prime Minister, who is the leader of the People's Labour Party. All of them committed to all of the commitments that were made in that accord. One of the most important things in that accord was that Nevis should get its fair share from the CBI receipts or CBI revenue. And when I say CBI, I mean the citizenship by investment returns. That, I believe, is nothing difficult. That is not a difficult request. It is a request that I do believe can be honored very easily. It is 25% of whatever the receipts are. And if you get in a calculator and you start calculating whether it's $100, 25% is $25. Simple as that. We are not saying to give us what is not ours. When you calculate it, if you want to take out all of the expenses, whatever is left, because monies are always left, because the passport has been sold, expenses have been paid, and monies have been put into the bank. The former Prime Minister, that is of the Labour Party, would have said how much he left behind. And if, for example, he left 900 million, as he said, 25% of that, cash in the bank, we should have gotten our 25%. We would have seen the receipts that were received between 2015 and now, which is in excess of $2 billion. 25% of that is easy to calculate. And when you hear people say that they send X amount of dollars to Nevis, that's a 400 million. But hey, that is a figure that we've been hearing. I believe it is less, but let's work with it. 400 million. 400 million is nothing close to what the people of Nevis should have received. 400 million, it sounds like a lot of money to many. But if a program thus far, since 2008, have received or returned to this federation, the coffers in Bastille, over $5 billion, perhaps just about $5.3 billion. And we are saying that Nevis got $400 million. Lord of mercy, man. Lord have mercy. That is what we were told that we received. And that is what we would have received, I must say. But that being said, we should have been seen in excess of $1 billion being placed into the treasury here in Nevis. Over $1 billion. And $1 billion can do so much for the island of Nevis. And those of you who think that the CCM, as they claim, is greedy, we're going to be greedy for the people of Nevis. We're going to be greedy for the island of Nevis. Because when you're representing people, you have to stand up for what is right, what is decent, and what is rightfully yours here on the island of Nevis.
The people of Green City, we want the SIDF money.
And every time I hear the song, we want SIDF money, man, we want money, man. We want our money. If we are 100% citizens, we must be able to derive the full benefits of our citizenship. And I think it was mentioned before that the NRP have been in the federal government before, you know. Between 2010 and 2015, the NRP was in a federal government. And what did they bring back? They bring back $4 million worth of debt to the people of Nevis. That's all they brought back. $4 million worth of debt that was used to pay for the airport lands. I would like to say those lands belong to the people of Nevis, but the NRP found a way to pay for them. But I'm not debating that. All I'm telling you, $4 million of debt was brought back to the people of Nevis. That is NRP's style of representation. That is not the CCM style of representation. I want to say to you tonight that the CCM is the only party in Nevis that has the vision and the temperament to stand up for the people of Nevis. We are the only party that is talking about fair share. It's not coming from any other party. And I've said before that any party that is running or contesting these elections that is not talking about fair share for Nevis is actually campaigning to deny or rob the people of Nevis of their fair share. Any party. It could be the NRP, it could be the other one. I don't remember her name. Any one of them who are campaigning and are not talking about fair share, they're actually campaigning to rob the people of Nevis of what is rightfully ours. And when they come to your doorsteps, you should ask them the question, are you for fair share? If they say yes, they say, well, go out my yard. CCM already talking for me, and CCM is who I'm voting for.
CCM go with it.
That. When they come and you ask them, you're talking about fair share, or you're fighting for fair share, and they say no, well, that again, tell them, well, hey, go where you're going. CCM is the party that is fighting for fair share. And we are with the CCM, and we'll stick with the CCM, because they have proven that they can stand up for the people of Nevis.
CCM go with it.
Let me say this. You hear them in a talk about double salary and two salary and thing? Well, we were getting a salary in St. Kitts. Eric, Mark, and myself. We were getting a salary. We could have stayed in St. Kitts and collect a salary for 5 years. Take knockbout. Bring nothing back to Nevis. Satisfied with the status quo. Do nothing. Collect our salary for 5 years. And then come back to Nevis with what? Nothing. But that is not this party, and it's not the style of this party. This party was formed in 1986 to stand up for the people of Nevis, to put Nevis people first. And that is what we did in 2020 when we were voted into government. We said, we're going to St. Kitts to bring back our fair share. And if it is not working, we are willing to walk away from it. We are willing to stand up for Nevis. We are stand up for what is right. And then in the end, the people of Nevis must understand that in a new dispensation, we will do exactly what we are doing now. And that is standing up for you once again. So we went to Bastia. And we would have done an excellent job as your representative there. In all of the various ministries, we did an excellent job. In agriculture, I can speak glowingly about that. In the environment, Eric can speak eloquently about that. And of course, in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Aviation, the Premier can speak all night about his accomplishments. But I'll say this to you, that even though we were doing an excellent job in those ministries and we expect to be back there again, that is secondary to what our plans were when we got there. When you were sent to represent, that is the bottom line and the top line of us being there. So we went to represent. And the reason why I can stand here tonight and feel proud of my leader and the stance that he would have taken is because we made the commitment to him from day one. Wherever you go, we'll follow you. Whatever you do, we'll follow you. Whatever decisions you make, we'll support you. And that is what you need as a team. That has been lacking in the past. That was lacking in the past. It's the first time in history the CCM would have gone there with 3 representatives to stand up for the people of Nevis. And it's because of those 3 representatives. We are here today, yes, but we are not ashamed of anything because we made that commitment. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this fair share thing, I want to say to you tonight that as a proud Nevisian, there are about 15,000 Nevisians living on the island of Nevis, and Nevisians throughout the world. I want to say to you that based on the receipts that have been had from this program, the CBI program, we can safely say that over 50,000 passports are somewhere throughout the world. 50,000 of us live here, and there are about 50,000 persons who would have gotten passport through the CBI program. Now, if it is that 50,000 people are all over the globe benefiting from that passport, they go through borders, they go through immigration, they go to various territories throughout the world that we have visa-free access. And they go and they enjoy the fruits of having our citizenship. They're enjoying. They paid for it. We were born and raised here in Nevis. All we're saying as Nevisians. And we all must be insulted by the fact that as we are here 2 miles away from Bastille, or 2 miles away from St. Kitts, but 11 miles between Charlestown and Bastille. And we are right here next to Bastille, where the coffers is, where the money comes. And we are being told that we don't deserve to get our fair share out of that. We must be insulted as Nevisians. And this is not putting Nevisians against Kittitians, because some may think less of us and more of them. But that's not the point here. We were all born in this federation. We all carry a passport mark, St. Christopher and Nevis. We sell this passport. It therefore means the receipts or returns from this passport must be shared equitably. We must get our fair share. So when persons travel the world and enjoy those benefits, well, we want to benefit from the money that comes to. What is so difficult about that? What is so hard to understand about that? So when you hear all kind of issues being thrown into the mix, oh, what you do with the money? Oh, you are wasting time in St. Kitts. But listen, an opposition must oppose. There's no doubt about that. That is our democracy. And we believe in our democracy. But there must be a problem when people are opposing simply because they are in opposition. Coming with issues that are not germane to the main issue that we are debating here on the island. If the main issue in this election is fair share, I don't want to hear a thing else from anybody. I want to hear from any political party here in Nevis other than the CCM. What are you going to do in these elections? Are you going to support the CCM? Support the CCM, I say. Because when the money comes, every one of us got to benefit from it.
CCM, Concerned Citizen Movement.
All of us will benefit from it. And we'll benefit with all the construction of roads, improvement in our infrastructure. Our port will be developed. Airport, seaport, housing program. As a matter of fact, I'll say this to you. This is how the CCM thinks. In 2013, a part of our agenda, a part of our manifesto, one of the programs that we said we'll introduce upon assuming government is our social program that will benefit our elderly. So what we said, if you're 65 and older, we will subsidize your electricity and water. That is being done through the Nevis Island Administration and through our treasury. What we are saying to the people of Nevis, once we get our fair share, we are asking and we are beseeching and telling the people of St. Kitts that we want to manage all of our social programs with our monies. So you know about the PAP program, call it what it is called, the Poverty Alleviation Program. You know about the STEP program. All of those are administered from St. Kitts, and as they claim, they are the ones paying for them, and we don't mind they're being paid for, but here's the problem. Once they have been administered from St. Kitts, persons who are the most vulnerable among us are not being able to benefit because you send names over there and they are picking and choosing because of the politics. You know, they pick up the phone, call Nevis and ask who is Tom James, who is Susan James. And if they are told that they back a certain party, they don't get on the program. But they are the ones who qualify in our when we do our qualification process. So we want our fair share to administer these programs, the STEP and the PAP program, and then those of us here who know our people the best. We know our people well. Nobody from Bastille know the people of Nevis like we do. So you give us our fair share to administer our own programs. There's this roofing program. Over $70 million have been spent in St. Kitts. All up and down St. Kitts, down in the east, down in the west, in the north, the south. Over $70 million have been spent. Monies from the CBI program, monies from the passport, the sale of passport, that is. We get just about $3 million. Imagine that. You look at the disparity. Well, how many people in Nevis would like their house roof fixed? Many. You go through all of the constituencies and you must find a number of people who can benefit from that. So with these disparity, any true and right thinking division must be aggrieved by such disparity. And that is why I stand on this platform tonight and very proud of the actions we have taken, because they were done in the best interest of the people of Nevis. And I'll tell you what, we'll stand up again if we have to. And if we are not getting what is rightfully ours, we as a party have said, we will be willing to walk away any day. But I truly believe that this time around we have what we consider to be real unity. Real unity where a partner is willing to work with us. No maximum leader among us. Some persons who was in the first instance the leader of the original unity felt like they were, what they call it, cook and bottle washer. Everything. What do you call it, chief? Chief cook and bottle washer. Everything revolved around them. Every ministry they dig their nose into and their hand into. Everything that happened in and out of government, they're the ones. But you know, I make the comparison, you know, because Mark Brantley is here, he's the Premier of Nevis. I never see such action from my Premier. Every single minister in the Nevis Island administration have been given a chance to lead their ministries. They have been able to do what is mandated of them in their ministries. And that is true leadership. Some people need to take a leaf out of Mark Brantley's book, and many may criticize him. But you see, who God bless, no man curse. You could curse as much as you want, but he's blessed by the hands of God, and he's the right leader for the right time in these difficult situations that we are facing. And that is what bothers some of them, you know. That bothers some of them, because Mark Brantley has proven as a leader of Nevis is prepared to stand up. I don't want to start to make comparisons now, but I know when the history books are written, it will say that Mark A.G. Brantley was the leader who stood up in the most difficult of times. And you know, I don't know how Mark Brantley manages sometimes. Got a lot of back broader than mine, even if I measure up to him. Back broad. Because if he was to listen to some of the things that people would say, I believe he would have been dissuaded in many ways. But I know he's persuaded by the fact that the people of Nevis, the majority of the people of Nevis, are with him. We stand with him. We stand beside him. And we'll stand with him on that day when the election day is called. And the votes are counted. Because when the saints go marching in, Mark Brantley will come out of Nevis 9. Eric will come out of Nevis 10. And Alexis will come out of Nevis 11.
CCM,
the three best candidates in this election. As a matter of fact, no other candidates in this election, because we can't hear about none up to now. And it shows how disorganized they are. We don't want no disunity. We don't want no disorganization. We don't want nobody who is going to block what is rightfully Nevis' own. But since I'm here in Ginger and Lord, I can't go without touching Eric. Eric, where is he? Eric. That is the man for Gingerland.
Eric Evelyn.
A man who is loved, affectionately loved by the people of Gingerland. And I don't care what he said, they say he could dance. Eric dance day, a morning, noon, night and day, if that is what it takes. People love you. But not only that, Eric, you're a hard worker. You said you're going to look after your people. You're the minister responsible for the elderly, the young. You're the sports minister. You have done an excellent job in those ministries. You have built the David Freeman Center of Excellence. You have done roads all up and down Gingerland. You have touched the lives of the people in Gingerland. And you have gone to Basti and you have taken that love over there. And you have done an excellent job at the federal level as Minister of Environment. You've gone all the way to Glasgow. I wonder where Glasgow is. I know about a title, Glasgow. But Glasgow in Scotland. Imagine that for 5 whole weeks, standing up every day, speaking on behalf of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Interviews after interviews. And you would have represented well. But you know, we know he's here in Nevis, you know. We know he's easy. Put us anywhere in this world and we'll shine among any stars out there and be brighter than them. Shine brighter than them, that is.
Blessings all for my life and Eric Evelyn. I feel the people a journey just to the plus.
So Eric is your candidate here in Gingerland. He came before and he said, send him to Basti to work on your behalf. And he has done that. He has represented. And he's coming back to you and asking for a second mandate to go back and continue the work that he started. And I am very confident that the people of Gingerland will accede to that request. Because Eric, and in Eric, you have a man who is committed to the task at hand. So Eric, you'll be fine. You'll join myself and Mark Brantley when that day comes. Because the people of Gingerland cannot be left behind. No matter who they bring, I ain't even thinking about who they're bringing. Because the only thing... Hey, listen, I want to say to the people of Gingerland, seriously. When you pick up the ballot, all you're looking for is the hammer, and beside the hammer, you'll see Eric Evelyn. Whoever else you see on the ballot, you tell them, get lost. I don't want to say because they're normally taping. I don't want to say what I intended to say. But I'll leave it as that and stick to the issues. So Eric, you will be there when the time comes in overwhelming numbers. So ladies and gentlemen, while I'm at that, let me just speak quickly because I don't want to stay too long, but let me speak quickly. As the Minister of Agriculture in St. Kitts, I was proud to lead that ministry. Agriculture, Fisheries, and Department of, Agriculture, Marine Resources, that is, my apologies. During the time I was there, I was able to build bridges, mend fences, and bring that ministry to a respectable position. Respectable so that throughout the Caribbean, persons were calling St. Kitts, calling Nevis, asking how were we able to do much of the things that we would have done since 2020. As a matter of fact, ministers have come and paid visits as well to get a tour of St. Kitts, to get a tour of Nevis, to see what our agriculture sector is doing and take a leaf out of the sector here in St. Kitts and Nevis. That was hard work and dedication to the task. And every time I stand, I want to thank all those who worked with me in Bastille, Permanent Secretary, and all of the other staff members. But what I did, I understood that if St. Kitts and Nevis can develop this sector, it will be the best thing for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So some of the programs that were working well here in Nevis, I took them to Bastille. The difficulties we would have had in terms of both ministries working together, we were able to build some synergies in that. I never had anything in St. Kitts without Nevis coming over. I had nothing in Nevis and St. Kitts didn't come over as well. We were working together harmoniously. That is what you do to unity is right. And that's what we should do as a people, not divisiveness. That is what we have been preaching all along, that through unity, real unity, we can have that type of synergy. So when it's all said and done, we saw progress in agriculture, in crop farming, livestock, fisheries, and go on and on. But I want to say to you that the work had just started. We had 2 years. And I'm making the commitment to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that in Alexis Jeffers, you will see the next Minister of Agriculture to continue the journey and to make agriculture that pillar of our economy that it can be. But I'll speak more to agriculture in a town hall setting, but I just wanted to touch that. But ladies and gentlemen, let me make an appeal to the people of Nevis 11. Because we are beaming into St. James and St. Thomas's. We are beaming throughout the whole of Nevis. So I want to say to the people of St. Thomas's and St. James, in 2020 you took a chance on me. Prior to 2020, 20 years prior to that you voted for a gentleman. You decided the time has come to move on. You moved on to something bigger and better. And the results of my representation are there to show. And no matter what might be said, 2 years in the federal parliament, 2 years in the federal government has proven that we have brought back more than we have gotten over. Well, let me go all the way back to 1992, for example. NRP has been there since then, and they were there until 2015. Not a thing they bring back other than $4 million loan. So compare what has been done in the last 2 years as against prior to that. And if we have done so in such a short period of time, give us another 5 years and you'll see a multiplication of what we have done.
CCM,
much more.
Citizen Movement.
So I'm coming back to the people of Nevis 11. From Butlers all the way to Craddock Road. I'm coming back for that mandate. And no matter who comes, they're going to come with money, they're saying, because I understand I'm coming up against millions of dollars. Lord of mercy. I don't even worry about that. Money is the least. Because when it's all said and done, well, you said it best. And exactly. Word of God, and you cannot defy that. So I want to say to you that I'm coming back for that mandate. And I'm saying to you that I have learned over the last 2 years what it means to represent at the highest level in the Federation. And based on what I've learned and the experiences that I've had, it therefore means that I am now equipped to go on for another 5 years and produce much more for you. As I said before, all of the programs that exist in the Federation, there are persons in Nevis 11 that should benefit and can benefit and are not benefiting because we have been denied. And if we have been denied, and this time we should get what is rightfully ours, we'll get it there for you is right. We'll get it for you. So ladies and gentlemen, there are many more speakers to come. And we'll be on this campaign trail for I don't know how long, but I know it'll be sooner rather than later because time must come when the bell will be rung. And when the bell is rung, then we'll push the thermometer up a little bit more. But I'll say to you, follow the issues. Don't be fooled by any other issue that are not germane to the argument, which is we are seeking to get our fair share. What is rightfully ours, what belongs to the people of Nevis. That is what we are speaking about. Anything outside of that debate, just ignore that. Ignore the noise we say sometimes. Ignore it, because it is all meant to give you all kind of mix-up and to move your thinking away from the real issues. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to strike up. We're going to strike up now and say to you that this is the road game that is on. We are on the road, and we're going to go to all of the constituencies in Nevis and bring that message of hope, that message of Nevis first and nothing else. Nevis first, Nevis second, Nevis third, and you can go all down the line. Everything is all about Nevis and what is best for us. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my quota for tonight. I want you to keep in mind who the candidates are. Mark Brantley is your candidate in Nevis 9. Alexis Jeffers is your candidate in Nevis 11. And right here in Nevis 10, the man who we are supporting tonight, the man that is going to come out of Gingerland in overwhelming numbers, the man who have said to you, send him to Bastille to work for you. He started that work. He wants to continue to work for you. Send him back with me. Send him back with Mark Brantley, the most dedicated team that you'll get out of the island of Nevis. The most dedicated team here in the CCM party. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my quota for tonight. It is always a pleasure coming to Gingerland. And boy, it started a little cold, but I feel hot now. Thank you for listening. It was indeed my pleasure. Have a good evening. Listen to the other speakers. They'll come with good issues for you tonight. Thank you very much and God bless.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling a division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, he's plain to see. I hear he teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message from me. CCM is the one who we want to represent we. We sticking with we CCM party. CCM party to fight for Queen City. We sticking with we CCM party. CCM party to remove Timothy. To get all we CBI money.
We sticking with CCM.
We're going to battle with the same tree.
We sticking with CCM.
Alexis, Civilian and Brantley.
We sticking with CCM.
There's no other choice that I see.
We sticking with CCM. We sticking with CCM. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
Remember, the party that has been looking out for the best interests of divisions, CCM party, making sure we get our full share of the CBI money. We sticking with we
CCM party. CCM party.
the blue machine ready. We sticking with.
Yes, we're sticking with the CCM party. A wonderful jingle there by King Bingy. That is our campaign, one of our campaign songs for this election. A wonderful one by King Bingy. Of course, we are going to have another in the not too distant future. Ladies and gentlemen, as Alexis was speaking, it reminds me that we here in Nevis for years have been asking for strong Nevisians to go across the waters and stand up for the people of Nevis. We've been asking for one to go across and stand up for the people of Nevis. In the Concerned Citizens Movement, we got three. The three Hebrew boys, Eric Evelyn, Alexis Jeffers, and the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley. We were fortunate to get three when we were asking for years for even one to go across to St. Kitts and stand up. We were asking for strong leadership to go across to St. Kitts. And again, we were lucky, fortunate to get the honor. Blessed, I agree with you, my brother. We are blessed to have the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley representing us at the federal level. And ladies and gentlemen, I must say to you, the leadership that the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley has demonstrated over the last few years has been real good for the people of Nevis. I am extremely happy with the leadership that the Honorable Mark Brantley has demonstrated at the federal level, because we know what he can do at the local level. We know what all Nevisian politicians can do at the local level. But we seem to always had a problem with our Nevisian brothers and sisters going across the water and buckling. I am pleased and happy to say that this evening we have three Hebrew boys. Three Hebrew boys who have stood up strong, represented well. And ladies and gentlemen, they are going to do it again. I want to say to you, the good people of Chickenstone, Meads Pasture, Pond Hill, all who are listening to me this evening, and via, of course, the online services. We must ensure that there's no opposition in this election. No opposition. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this election, as I said before, is about Nevis. It's about fair share for Nevis. It's not about this party or that party. We must be speaking with one voice, when this election is all over. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to call on the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley, our political leader, to address you this evening. Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley.
It's Mark we voting. It's Mark we voting now. It's Mark we voting now. Nevis, I say excuse me. When election come in, I voting for Mark Brantley. He's not just a politician, Brantley is truly taking the country forward, making Nevis look groovy. CCM is the party. Hey, so on election day, if you want to better your country, come to your polling station and put an X for Mark Brantley. For sports and education, don't think easy. This is Nevis next premier, so make no mistake. I'm doing the most. Ain't nobody else here like he and his team. They doing the most. When they come, they're going to beat every party. Mark doing the most. He have the formula to fix the country. So go out and vote.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the good people of Chicken Stone. It's always good to be in Gingerland, the place of my birth. And I have come tonight to support the candidacy of the Honorable Eric Rohan Evelyn. Eric Evelyn is somebody that we all know and love. Long, long before he was involved in politics, the people of Gingerland knew Eric, knew what he represented, and knew that he was a man of the people and for the people. Many of us go to politics. Politics came to Eric because he was called upon by the people of Gingerland to represent them. And the people of Gingerland are good, sensible people. They know good representation when they see it. For years, they have voted consistently for the late, great Vance Winkworth Amory. And when Mr. Amory hung up his boots, they started to vote in overwhelming numbers, increasing numbers for the Honorable Eric Evelyn. Now I have said to Eric and Alexis, my two colleagues and fellow candidates in this election, that I am sorry for the way this has gone, because they would have been elected only in 2020. And none of us thought that we would be here today facing another federal election, which is right around the corner. We didn't think that we would have been here because we put trust and confidence in the leadership at the time in St. Kitts, that he was a man of integrity, of good character, and that he would deliver what was promised to the people of Nevis and the wider federation. But instead, we had somebody who was more interested in self, more interested in family and friends, and was not prepared to keep their bargain, not prepared to honor their commitment. And so we are here, ladies and gentlemen, today because of the actions of one individual. I could say that the Honorable Sean Richards of the People's Action Movement and I, as the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement, we made every possible effort for conversation, for dialogue, and for compromise. There was none that was offered by Timothy Harris. And as I listened to the Honorable Alexis Jeffers refer to him as the former Prime Minister, I said, I like that, because he will never again see the office of Prime Minister in this country. I don't care what he do. They say night run till morning catch him, and no matter what night do, morning must come. And morning is coming. And with morning, you know what they say? What they say? They say the tears may endure for the night. Joy cometh in the morning.
CCM, go with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the speakers before me. And the reality is that the dominant issue in this campaign, is the issue of representation for the people of Nevis. the dominant issue for us to confront in this campaign is, who do you trust to go to Bastille and to stand up for you? You hear a lot of talk, you hear a lot of chatter. But who do you hear standing up for the people of Nevis?
CCM, go with it.
The problem that we have in Nevis, you have one political party in the NRP that is seeking to get its funding for its campaign from Timothy Harrison St. Kitts. And the problem that they have is that they cannot say one word on behalf of the people of Nevis on this issue of us getting our fair share, because he don't tell them, if I get out the line, I cut off the money. We do not want leaders in Nevis who are for sale. And that is why I can stand here proud today and know that Alexis and Eric can stand with me, because nobody can buy us. When we stand, ladies and gentlemen, we stand strong, we stand firm, we stand dedicated to the people of Nevis. And that has been our position. You know, some of them with the forwardness say we can't sink is because we want salary. Well, if we wanted salary, all we had to do is go down there and everything Timothy say, we agree with you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 bags full, sir. And you get your money every month. But we said, no. Keep your money. Keep your money. Because if the people of Nevis are not getting what was promised to them, we cannot be among you.
The people of Green City, we want the SIDF money.
Now some of them appear with this foolish talk, saying, oh, you get 400 million, what you do with it? I want to point out to all of us that the money that came to Nevis came over the course of 7 years. Sometimes they try to make it appear as if we got one check for $400 million. It came over 7 years. And over that 7-year period, I would also remind you that the money that would have come over from Bastille wasn't a gift. It wasn't a contribution. It wasn't, as they say, budget support. It was but a fraction of the money to which the people of Nevis were entitled. Now, when you look at the period from 2008 until 2022, where we now are, we know that the Citizenship by Investment Program has generated somewhere in the region of $5.3 billion. They say that's a lot of money. Some people can't count so far. Well, I admit I can't count so far. Some man tell me, say 5,003 million. I said 5,003 million. What do you mean by that? He said 5,300 million. That's the 5.3 billion. 5,300 million. Well, if something that belongs to me and you brings in $5,300 million, how come you boast and say you give me 400 million? And I realize that the former Prime Minister has this ability to stand up time after time in meeting after meeting and recite, like when you're in primary school, you remember you had recitation? He recites every dollar that Nevis received. But he has never once said to the people of the country how much Sinkers get. Never once has he said how much the program has brought in. I had to get a 3-person team together. And I tell them, go through all the documents you can find. Search all the budgets. Make sure you bring back as best as you can the numbers for CBI. And when they told me $5.3 billion, 5,300 million is what came into the country. So when you hear them talking, and they're saying over and over, Sinkers have surplus budget, money in the bank. The other former Prime Minister, Denzel Douglas, boasts and that if we were getting our 25% of that money, that we too could have money in the bank. I want the people of Chicken Stone and Gingerland to understand that we would have been able to do project after project. I want you to understand that we could have paid off every amount of debt that is owed by the Nevis Island government. I want you to consider, ladies and gentlemen, what we could have done had we got our fair share of what belongs to us. And then the thing that bothers me most is that when we in the CCM decided enough was enough, we didn't come to that decision overnight, you know. We didn't rush to that decision. I had meeting after meeting with Timothy Harris on the matter. I wrote letter after letter to him. Imagine I'm a big man, went to school. I mean, I went to no Saturday school. I went to school Monday to Friday, like all of you. We know how to read, write, and count in Nevis. And I write and say, what is happening with this money? I get a letter back. Dear Premier, the matter has to be studied by the Ministry of Finance. I said, okay. 8 months, 9 months, no answer. I write again. What is happening with Nevis people money? Dear Premier, the report is almost ready. And I will be discussing it with you shortly. I said, okay. Another 9 months, 10 months go by, nothing. I write again. What happened? Dear Premier, we will have to put a committee in place to look at this matter. I said, okay, that's 3 different reasons you give me now. I write on there, what's happening with our money? Dear Premier, I have to get the World Bank to look at the matter.
You dirty man! You dirty man! Leave CCM business alone!
And my problem with that is that the man not only say he got to get the World Bank, you know, the man gonna watch me in my face and tell me that, you know, the World Bank delayed because of COVID. So, we get 1 reason, 2 reasons, 3 reasons, 4 reasons, and the last one we get is the World Bank delayed because of COVID. You know what that is saying to the people of Nevis? That your issue will never be addressed. And that is why the money that we are getting, we keep calling it interim. Well, how long you going to have interim? Interim, interim, interim. We want a permanent solution to the problem. And the solution don't need any World Bank. Anybody here in Chicken Stone could take out a calculator. And every year they could say, okay, if you make X and you spend Y in expenses, you take the Y from the X, whatever you're left with, give Nevis 25% of that, and you take your 75%, and everybody happy. Easy. But instead of that, they come in with all kind of cataflam because they have no respect for the people of Nevis. When I hear the former Prime Minister love to jump up in Nevis and talk about my father from Cotton Ground. He father from Cotton Ground and he want to treat the people of Nevis like this? He father from Cotton Ground and he wants to treat the people of Nevis like this? So at what point should I have said enough is enough? I told them in St. Kitts, I said, listen, I know where I'm from, you know. I know where I am from. I know where me born. I know where me grow. And nobody gonna make no fool out of Nevis people so long as I am the Premier of Nevis. You have people on the other side look like they're rushing in to be made fools of, not on the CCM side. And that is why I'm so proud of the Honorable Eric Evelyn. So proud of the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, because when we sat, we discussed, and people don't know, we have breakfast every Monday morning. Well, Eric say watching he wait, so he don't got bush tea. But Alexis and I eat every Monday morning, the 3 of us get together, and we discuss, and we decide, and we plan the way forward. And that is why I am so proud of them, because they have been, they have been as steadfast and as sure, as steady as the Northern Star. Immovable. Immovable. You want to talk about unity? In CCM is where you have unity. No cracks. Purpose. Oneness of purpose. And that is why we have said To our brothers and sisters in PAM, listen, do what you got to do in St. Kitts. We will do what we have to do in Nevis. And when we bring it together, we have real unity in the country. That is what we are seeking to achieve. Not what we had before. We had a team unity, but there is no I in team and no me in unity. The team unity that we have, you had one man keep jumping up the former prime minister. Aye. Me. No. You want people to respect each other. People who allow each other to shine. The man vexed if somebody else say, Mark Brantley doing a good job as foreign minister. No house could give out in St. Kitts unless Timo there to give it out, and he's not the minister of housing. Not even street lights could have turned on in St. Kitts because he got to turn it on, and he's not the minister of infrastructure. That is the way the man operates. Lindsey Grant worked so hard during COVID to bring back the cruise ships. And the first cruise ship that came in, I see a big picture. Timo again. Thank God for Timo. Timo don't know nothing about how the cruise ship come. And that is the problem I have. I have traveled the four corners of the world as foreign minister. I am pleased as I stand here in Chickenstone, in Gingerland tonight to say, through my efforts and the efforts of my team at Foreign Affairs, St. Kitts and Nevis now have the #1 passport in the entire Caribbean region. #1.
Mark Brantley, a year in the place, you know.
And then the man got the heart to say that they're making the money in St. Kitts and we just come down there and say we want some of the money. Well, if I'm here to do the work, if I am the one making the passport the most powerful and sought after, and you are selling, you know what that remind me? I use the example all the time. You and your brother own a cow. Every morning the brother go out, cut grass and feed the cow. When the time for milking come, you milking. You under the cow every morning, milking, and you sell the milk, but you don't want to give your brother his share the money. And when your brother said to you, that is not fair. We own the cow together. You're milking the cow and selling the milk. You tell your brother, hey, why you not going to look your own? You own where to make some money. Why you not going to look for your own where to make some money? But you're making money from our cow. And the reality is that in the country now, and for many years, the citizenship by investment has been the biggest thing happening in the country. In fact, budget after budget in Bastille has pointed out that the citizenship by investment program has brought in upwards of 50% of the revenue in St. Kitts. Upwards of 50% of the revenue year after year. Up here in Nevis, they want us to scrimp. They want us to borrow. They want us to go and do all kinds of things. But they down there, year after year, surplus again, surplus again, surplus again. And your brothers and sisters in Nevis, and you say your father from Cotton Ground, not me? Well, you don't care about the people of Cotton Ground? Your brothers and sisters in Nevis, but you down there boasting surplus while keeping our money and refusing to give us our share. No. I'm a proud Nevisian. I born on Henley Part in a little place named Scarborough, a little house up on 4 Stone. That's where I'm from. Eric come from down a little further than me. And that is how we grew up down there when my parents are moving to Brown Hill. I went from school, Chapel School, to Joycelyn Library, was then called Gingerland Primary, and then down to Prospect, now Ivor Walters. That is us. Nevisians, that is who we are. We cannot forget who we are. And we cannot allow anybody anywhere to disrespect the people of Nevis. Nowhere. It cannot happen, and it will not happen. So all of them who now run coming and saying all kind of things, I don't even understand what they say. The other night I hear one of them on radio. I hear she was to be the candidate against me. Then they say not she. They bring in somebody else. Then they say, not that one. They bring in somebody else. Then they say, no, not that one. They're going back to the first one. And I'm sure by next week, they're going to bring somebody else. You know why? All of them free licks. All of them free licks. You think this thing easy? You know how much Benga you got to buy when you want to be in politics? All of them free licks because what the song I say is pong for pong and blow for blow. He said this here in Kaiso. But this year in politics is pong for pong and blow for blow. It's a serious election. And if you're not ready for prime time, my suggestion to you is stay out. Stay out. Because this is time when the people of Nevis are asking for proper representation. Strong representation. People go to Bastille with their head up, their shoulders out, understanding that the people of Nevis have sent them to do a job. And I like what my colleagues say and keep saying, and I say the same. This is not disrespect or discourtesy to the people of St. Kitts. We love our brothers and sisters in St. Kitts, but fear is fear. Right is right. And when we go, we are standing up for what is fair and what is right. My brothers and sisters, we're on the right side of the issue. We're on the right side of history. I hear this lady on radio the other night, and Spencer wrap her up in a nice little bow. Me never know Spencer went law school. She said, oh, if you all were serious, you should go to the court and argue about the money. And she pull out Constitution, she read, but she don't understand. She said, go to 1110. I'm sorry, go to 110. 110 of the Constitution. And so Spencer asked a question. You think the CBI money is tax money? She said, no, it's not tax money. Spencer said, well, 110 only talk about tax money. And Spencer read the thing for her. Right away, case dismissed. Because she don't know what she talk about. Spencer wrap up in a nice, neat little bow. And then you see the realization that that is a trick that they're seeking to play on the people of Nevis. You sign a document down in Charleston. I'm sure many of you were there tonight. I was. Tim signed it. Vance signed it. Sean signed it. I didn't sign. I was not a leader then. So the three of them signed on behalf of PLP, PAM, and CCM. Well, you done sign. And you mean you sign and you had no intentions to keep your word? You had no intentions to honor what you signed? Man, that's like what you call a bad bargain. You put your signature, but you have no interest in honoring that which you have signed. And so he come now and start to say, oh, we must look to the Constitution. No, Charleston Accord is better than the Constitution. You think you're smarter than me? You want me to look at Constitution because you feel that the Constitution does not deal with the CBI money. So you want me to fight you about VAT and corporate tax. That is important, but I want the big fish. I want the big fish. Me not fight to sprat, you know. We want snapper in Nevis too. Let me talk about the big fish, and the big fish is CBI. And so now we understand the plan all along. Send us to the Constitution, but the Constitution doesn't address the issue that we're trying to deal with. Then they come now, and they say, well, if the Constitution didn't address it, I, Mark, Anthony Graham Brantley, Vicky and Owen's son, me should have changed the Constitution. So I say, well, that's a lot of power you're giving me. Because to change that provision of the Constitution, you need 2/3 of the people in the Parliament to vote yes. Then you need an interval of 90 days between when the bill is introduced and when it has its second reading. And then after the people have voted yes, 2/3 of them, you must come to the public in two, not one, two referenda. One in St. Kitts, separate, one in Nevis, separate. And on both referenda, you must get 2/3. I think that easy. Are you old enough to know that when we had a secession vote in Nevis, what happened with that? You think 2/3 easy to get? So they're asking me to do the nigh impossible rather than holding the former prime minister accountable. Every division, I agree with this and that tonight. The king, sorry, sir. I agree with the king that every division should stand firm on this issue together. Together, we must stand and send one voice, one signal, one message that enough is enough. And the people of Nevis will not tolerate this type of behavior anymore. Somebody asked me the other night, so what's going to happen if you join up with Pam and Pam doesn't deliver? I say, well, the same way we join, we will unjoin. And I believe Pam understands me very clearly on that. The same way I join, I will unjoin if Nevis does not get what Nevis deserves. It's as simple as that. So when we come to you, you understand that we're coming because we're serious. When we were in opposition, Labour and NRP were in office. Labour and NRP were in office at the federal level. And Nevis got nothing. Nothing. Over $2 billion came into Bastille during that time. And when that money came in, when Nevis got a little dribble over here, some crumbs, they sent a loan. They put a big word on it, L-O-A-N. When sinkers they get a different word, G-R-A-N-T. That's grant. And if you don't like grant, you go F-R-E-E. Free. But Nevis get loan that we must pay back. And then that vagabond party, NRP, they go on the mortgage the Vance Amri Airport. Mortgage our airport. When I saw the document, I almost cried to see that they went and pledged the airport of the people of Nevis to secure $4 million. And the problem that I have is that the $4 million didn't even come to us. It was campaign money. You remember how the $4 million came? It went to the craft house. And it went through zig, zag, zwig, and come back around. It was never intended for us, to benefit us. And our airport was mortgaged for that. The NRP has done some unforgivable sins. Unforgivable. I believe the best thing they could do is come to the people of Nevis in sackcloth and ashes, bend down on their knees and beg forgiveness, because the things they have done to us are unforgivable. And here they are yet again. Yet again the island is groaning and crying out for representation. What are they doing? Taking money from the former prime minister to run their campaign. Money that prevents them from speaking up for Nevis. Money that tells you that they are for sale. And Nevis doesn't want any leader that is for sale. They say what they want about me, but none of them can buy me. None of them can buy me. I am not for sale. Say what they want about Alexis Jeffers. None of them can buy Alexis. He is not for sale. And say what you want about the representative for the good people of Nevis 10 Gingerland, Eric Rohan Evelyn. He is not for sale. I believe that that is an important message for the people of Nevis. Those at home, those abroad, wherever you are, you're listening tonight. We on this team are not for sale. We are here to represent to the best of our ability. You know, I hear all kind of talk going around now. They have all kind of allegations flying about who did what and who didn't do what and who corrupt and who not corrupt. I will guarantee you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. They will never, ever come to you and say Eric Evelyn did anything in his ministry. They will never, ever come to you and say Alexis did anything in his ministry. And as for me, they will never, ever come to you and suggest that I did anything in my ministry. Because we are people with integrity. And as Limo of blessed memory once said, before God and man, our hands are clean. So I have no problems with coming back to the people of Nevis, apologizing to them as we must, that we have come 3 years early, but saying to them, as we also must, that these are the circumstances that we face. And having tried and tried and tried again to resolve the issues, we said, you know what, we could not take any more of this. Enough is enough. And all of us know what that means. All of us understand that there comes a point when you are and have had enough. And when that happens, it is time to go. A done is a done. You're right. A lot of us, if we're going to take done, we wouldn't have no problem. But when we can't take the done, we start to coop. We start to coop. We start to do all kind of things, lose sleep, lose weight. Can't eat, can't sleep. When the done, take the done. And Timo done. He done. But you know, see, he lose weight, that's what I tell you. He lose weight, some of them can't take the done. So that is the reality. I am inviting the people of Gingerland to be constant. You have voted for the Concerned Citizens Movement since 1987. And you have continued to vote for the Concerned Citizens Movement. This is in every sense CCM country here in Gingerland. And I'm inviting you to remain constant and steadfast with that Hebrew boy from Henley Park, the Honorable Eric Evelyn. Remain steadfast because he has what it takes: integrity, dedication, commitment to represent you. And to do so honestly, and to never forget that you sent him to Bastia to do a job for you. Let Eric continue on his path. It is a good path, and it's a path that will yield benefits for the people of Gingerland, the people of Nevis, and the people of the wider Federation. In number 11, you gave the Honorable Alexis Jeffers a chance. For the first time, CCM won that seat in its history in 2020. And I'm asking the good people of St. Thomas's and St. James to stick with Alexis, because in him, you know, you have a worker. You have somebody who's committed and dedicated. You have somebody who will get the job done. And most of all, and what is most important to me, you have somebody who's strong. Alexis don't bow, he don't buckle. He's strong. I could not ask for a better team than we have going to Bastia. Some say it's the best team, pound for pound, we ever assembled.
CCM, none of them can run the place like you.
And ladies and gentlemen, in number 9, we start just over the hill here, you know. As you reach Pan Hill and you start to go down, all the way down to Bath, that is Sheriff country. I don't care what them do, I don't care what them say. Them I got tired to see me fierce because them can't get me out of this race.
Mark Brantley, a year only place in a big up.
That is what we are dealing with. And I'm saying to you, you made the right choice in 2020. Stick with us as we are sticking with you. Because we are the team that has demonstrated when we're in opposition and now we're in government that we put the interests of the people of Nevis first. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. For those who are tuned in, thank you for tuning in. We will be taking our message throughout the highways and byways here on the island of Nevis. Town halls, public meetings. Come out, listen, be a part of our meetings. Honk your horn, blow your horn. Whatever it is you have whistle, you have horn, make some noise, because CCM is the party for the people of Nevis. CCM will continue to stand up for the people of Nevis. Thank you, good night, and God bless you.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
There's a stake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling a division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. I hear he's teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message from me. CCM is the one who we want to represent we. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party to fight for Queen City. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party to remove Timothy. Forget all we CBI money.
We sticking with CCM.
We're going to battle with the same tree.
We sticking with CCM.
Alexis Evelyn and Brantley.
We sticking with CCM.
You have heard it, ladies and gentlemen, of Chickenstone, Pond Hill, Meads Pasture, the surrounding areas, and all of you who are listening via the online services. Leadership you can trust. Ladies and gentlemen, every time I listen to the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley, I get excited about his leadership at the federal level. And I keep saying the federal level because, ladies and gentlemen, we have been suffering for years at the federal level with strong leadership. Finally, I am happy to say that with the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, and the Honorable Eric Evelyn, we have 3 strong Hebrews. And ladies and gentlemen, next week, Thursday, we are going to have another town hall at Caribbean Cove. And at that town hall, those 3 Hebrews will outline what they have done at the federal level. Because the record of these 3 strong CCM representatives needs to be talked about. Needs to be talked about, especially our leader, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley. Because what he has done at the federal level is remarkable and must be repeated over and over. Because it is important that you understand what he has achieved. It is important that you understand what Alexis Jeffers has achieved in his short term. It is important that you understand what Eric Evelyn has achieved in his short term. So next week, Thursday, at Caribbean Cove, we shall have another town hall meeting where they will outline to you what they would have done at the federal level. I must remind you as well, ladies and gentlemen, that next week, Saturday, after the town hall on Thursday, we shall be in Barnsgot. The CCM Blue Machine shall roll into Barnsgot next week, Saturday. So make sure you follow us right through, because the message we are bringing to the island and people of Nevis is that we must speak with one voice. Fair share for all. Fair share for Nevis is our topic. What's good for the goose, good for the gander. I like that, my brother. And ladies and gentlemen, like I have said earlier, that this election is about Nevis. This must not be about CCM or NRP. We must speak with one voice. And if, like my good friend Alexis said, if you are not coming to the platform to speak about fair share for Nevis, to speak with one voice for the island of Nevis, then don't come. It's as simple as that. Don't come. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure now to introduce to you the area representative, my good friend, the Honorable Eric Luther is what they call you? I know Eric Rohan Evelyn. Your friends call him Luther. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome Eric Evelyn to the podium. The dance.
Good night, good night, good night. Listen, we are in CCM country. You got to put out. Give me a little bit of the new song, man. Give me a little bit of the new song. We got to keep up the momentum, up and up and up and up. You're increasing the momentum for this campaign. That's what this is all about.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
Somebody tell me I ain't had no space up here to dance, eh? But I'm gonna do a little thing still.
There's a stake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. And yeah, he's teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message from me. CCM is the one who we want to represent we. We sticking with CCM party. CCM party to fight for Quincy.
Oh yeah, we sticking with CCM party.
CCM party.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, DJ. Thank you. Good night, good night, good night, ladies and gentlemen. The good people of my constituency of St. George, Gingerland. You know, when I was coming up, before I came up tonight, a lady told me, Eric, he ain't had no space up there for you to dance tonight. But you know, whether there is space or not, I gonna find a little space. Because you know, since I got into politics, I have earned the name which I love as the dancing minister. I love that name. And once there is a little space, I'm going to do a little thing. Because you know what? When we come to these meetings, we love to talk because we have to talk about the issues. But these meetings are also about getting a little entertainment as well. And you see that new song that Bingy brought out? Boy, that song's so hot. I don't start to learn me moves. I start to learn me moves already for that song. So when I get more space, it's going to be more dancing. Because you know, a lot of people have a problem with my dancing, you know. But they will always have a problem with me dancing because I'm going to dance my way back into office again. When I was running for local, I said, I'm going to dance my way into office, and I did. When I was running for federal in 2020, I said it again, and I did. And so I'm saying it here again. In the heart of my constituency, in St. George, Gingerland, that I'm going to dance my way back into office in Bastia again. Right? Because when I started out in this politics thing, one of the evil they had against Eric Evelyn is that he danced too much. But you know what? The people who elected me from this great area of St. George, Gingerland, they love me when I dance. And so they love me when I dance, and I'm going to dance even more. Right? And so I want to greet the great people of St. George. Chickenstone, Meads Pasture, Pond Hill, Clegot, all the surrounding areas. And those of you who can hear me from all the way over in Hanley's Road and Maynard's Ground and Rollins and Zetlands and Zion, wherever you are, we, the great concerned citizens movement, the big blue machine, we are back at you in 2020 because we know that in Gingerland, your support is always solid, and we know that it will always be solid. Because it's one thing I can assure you, it's one thing I can assure all of you who are listening, all of you who are under the sound of my voice, all who are here at the Loris area. And you know, this is a CCM country, you know, this is a CCM area. So I'm happy that we started the campaign in the good area of St. George, Gingerland in Nevis 10. Because I have a simple message that the good people of St. George, Gingerland, in this area, we have a strap broad so. Broad so. And when it comes to election, we don't make joke in Gingerland. We don't make joke in Gingerland. You heard from Alexis, you heard from Mark, that listen, we have been sticking with the CCM over the years, and the good people of this parish, Nevis 10, will always be sticking with the concerned citizens movement and will be sticking with your representative who you can trust. Who you can trust. And so again, in 2022, we'll be sharing some serious licks. Now, you know, I was getting a little excited about the local election because we know that the local election is due by early next year. But we, the good people of Nevis and St. Kitts and Nevis, we have been bold a googly. We have been bold a googly. And so we have to respond to the googly. And you know, the good thing about it, right? Nevis has the reputation as a cricketing nation. So whether googly, bouncer, Yorker, anything come, we ready. Anything come, the good people of Nevis are always ready. And we're not just ready. We are ready to rally with the party that stands up for you.
CCM know we are doing one thing. We not follow no party.
The good people of Nevis, whatever comes, the situation has come and we will confront it head on. We are confronting the situation head on. It has come early, yes, but as I would have said a few nights ago, if the election is called tomorrow, we're going to be ready. If it is called next week, we're going to be ready. If it is called next month, we will be ready. And the people of this constituency of St. George, Nevis 10, will once again rally with the CCM.
CCM, go with it.
So will the good people of Nevis 9 and the good people of Nevis 11. I know when our good premier speaks, he always like to say that when we counting, we're going Nevis 9 in the box, Nevis 10 in the box, and that's a winner. Nevis 11 in the box. And listen, I can assure you that on election night, Nevis 10 going to be safe in the box first. We have that reputation. We love to lead in the good parish of St. George, Gingerland. And we're going to be leading from the front come election night. And so, the first one that's going to be safe in the box is Nevis 10, St. George, Gingerland. My people have never let me down. And they will never let me down. And they will never let the good people of the Concerned Citizens Movement down. Because the Concerned Citizens Movement has always been with you. And always will be with you. And so, in this election that has been called, that will be called 3 years early, it's a historic, it will be historic for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we, in the good island of Nevis, we want to be on the right side of history. And because we want to be on the right side of history, we must be prepared. We must be prepared on the island of Nevis to rally with the CCM. Why? Because the CCM, as Bingy said, we're sticking. Let me get a little bit of that, the DJ. We're sticking with CCM, man. We're sticking with CCM. We're sticking with CCM because you know why? And the message is going to be absolutely clear. It's going to be resounding throughout this campaign because that is the message that you must hear. That is the message that you must take to your neighbors and your family and friends, that we are sticking with the party that stands up for the island of Nevis. Come what may. You just heard the premier a while ago. He said that none of us can be bought, the three Hebrew boys. We can't be bought because we are standing up for you. This election, make it absolutely clear in your mind that this election, very, very clear, is about the island of Nevis, it's about the Federation, but we, the three Hebrew boys from the CCM, we are bringing the issue to you that it is about standing up and standing with Nevis, standing with Nevisians, standing with the residents of Nevis, and ensuring that we get what we truly deserve out of the federal pie. We have had a history, this party, and look at it. Look at the history of the politics in St. Kitts and Nevis. And this is the only party that has the reputation of always standing up for Nevis. Always standing for Nevisians. And that is what you want in your representatives. When we came to you in 2020, we told you that in no uncertain terms that we will stand up for you. And that is exactly what we have done. And that is why we are here at this critical juncture today. And you know what? We have been consistent in our message. We have been extremely consistent. For 7 long years, the Honorable Mark Bradley has been talking about this issue of fair share. Have you heard that from any other party? Have you? Absolutely not. And so when it comes to standing for Nevis, standing up for what we deserve, the only party to choose is the Concerned Citizens Movement. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard so much about the fair share issue. And as I would have said on Thursday night, that I don't think anyone could be as eloquent in speaking about the fair share issue as the Honorable Mark Brantley, our Premier and our leader. And you know, when this impasse came around, a lot of charges were leveled against myself and Alexis. Oh, we ain't hear you. Y'all ain't talking about fair share. Y'all ain't backing Mark. Y'all are not with your leader. But we were the quieter ones, while our beloved leader articulated the issue like no one can. And I'm sure you all would agree with me that nobody can articulate that like Mark Brantley. The message has been clear over and over and over again. He has been unrelenting, and he will not rest. We will not rest until we get what Nevis truly deserves. We deserve our fair share. And this election is about fighting for Nevis and fighting for our fair share. We can't rest on our laurels. And we must continue to tell our brothers and sisters in St. Kitts, we have absolutely nothing against you. We are living as one. Because I'm sure everybody in Nevis have relatives in St. Kitts. Everybody in Nevis have relatives in St. Kitts. And so when it comes to the people-to-people relationship, that has always been exceptionally strong. There is a bond that exists between St. Kitts and Nevis that no one can question. Absolutely no one can question. And so when we look at the relationship between our people from the two islands, we have a very close relationship. Only today I was in St. Kitts. I spent almost all day in St. Kitts. And as I keep saying, the people in St. Kitts, I have a very good relationship with them. And it will always continue. Because I'm confident that after this election is called, our 3 representatives will be back at the table, at the federal table in the federal government. And so the people on a whole don't have a problem with each other. But they are always unscrupulous politicians who try to ensure and try to divide us by not giving us our fair share. And so I am here tonight. To overwhelmingly support the call for our fair share that has been consistently called by our leader. Alexis, myself, and our leader, the Honorable Mark Brantley, we will be resolute in this issue. So, ladies and gentlemen, this election is about us standing for you, standing with you, and representing you like no other can in getting what we deserve. And we cannot overemphasize the importance of us getting our fair share. Because the passport mark St. Kitts and Nevis. The passport is labeled St. Kitts and Nevis. And so if the passport is being sold and money is coming in, don't you all believe that Nevis deserves its rightful share? Nevis deserves its rightful share. And when the accord was signed on the steps in Charlestown, the accord laid out how the money should be shared. And so why now? Why now when the money is being made? Why are we being deprived of our share? It can't continue. And that is why we took that stand. Salary or no salary. We're standing up for Nevis, and Nevisians should be proud of us. Because you have never, ever seen any politicians from any other party that has stood up for you like us. None. And there will never be a party that will stand for you like the Concerned Citizens Movement. There will never be any representatives to stand for you like Alexis, Mark, and myself. And so it is absolutely clear in this election coming up. You know, a lot of Nevisians like to say they don't like to vote in federal election. But trust me, with this issue that is at the heart of this campaign, I am urging, I am beseeching all Nevisians to go out in your numbers and vote for the Concerned Citizens Movement.
We sticking with CCM party.
Oh yeah.
CCM party to fight for Queen City.
I remember in 2020 when I was running for the federal election, a gentleman in my village said to me, Eric, I never vote for federal. I never vote for federal. It's always local. I support you, but I ain't voting federal. And I was able to convince him. Because as the Honorable Mark Brantley and the Honorable Alexis Jeffers have said tonight, that I always stand with the people of Gingerland, and they always stand with me. I'm proud of that. And I was able to convince that young man to vote in a federal election for the first time. And when this impasse came, he said to me, you see what I tell you? I'm going to sink it and see what happens. You convinced me to vote for federal, I voted for you. Well, I'm not going to convince you again because you're going to vote for federal again. Because when he heard about the main issue, about the fair share, and us standing up for Nevis, he said, well, I'm sorry, but I have to vote. Because this is about my country. This is about my people. This is about my fellow Nevisians. And that is why it's so important that whether it is federal or local, that you rally with the CCM. This federal election is a very critical one. It is a very crucial one. And that is why we will be going to the highways and byways, wherever we have to go, to enlist your support for us and for the CCM. We will be coming. And for those of you, I know the good people in St. George, Gingerland, they like to relax. They like to say, Eric, you don't win. I remember I had an argument with one of my relatives, you know, when I ran in 2020. He said, you don't want no vote. You don't win. But we don't need to relax. Because as I've told Alexis on several occasions, when it comes to votes, I rape them. I ain't afraid to say that. When it comes to anybody who know what rape mean? I want it all. When it comes to votes, I can't get too much. Right? And so, whether you like to step back and say, well, listen, Eric, you don't win. I don't want to hear that. Every vote counts. Thank you, my friend. Every vote counts. And those of you who are not registered as yet, please go register on Monday. Now waste no more time. My good friend, yes, don't waste any more time. Find the electoral office on Monday. Because you know what? When Alexis and Mark and me go to Bastille and give you the quality representation and we get our fair share, the good that comes to the island of Nevis comes for all of us. And so you must have a say in the affairs of your country. And you must have a say in who governs the country. And you must have a say in who go to Bastille. And you must have a say in who represent you. And so, we're going to be asking you to exercise your fundamental right. Thank you, my friend. Exercise your fundamental right. And so if you are not registered as yet, please go. You need 2 IDs. You need 2 IDs. Go to the electoral office on Monday morning, first thing. And hurry up and get registered. And those of you, because I sent in the message earlier o'clock, because some people ain't realize that the ID card does expire. A lot of people have been telling me I got to go check my ID card. Check your ID card to see whether or not it has expired. And if it has expired, just like how this government will expire very shortly. If it has expired, you need to go into the federal office and say, my ID card has expired and I need to vote in the next election for the Concerned Citizens Movement. I need to vote for Mark if I'm in 9. I need to vote for Eric if I'm in 10. And I need to vote for Alexis if I'm in 11. Right? And so if your card is expired, I'm asking you kindly to go and get it reissued. And if it's not reissued on time, you can vote with a government-issued ID. One of my relatives asked me the other day, because he just registered the other day, And he said, Lord, I didn't realize it thing gonna take 2 months for me to get my card. I said, don't worry. He said, well, I could vote without it. I said, sure. Once you have an ID, you can vote without the card. But do the right thing and go and get registered to get your card. And so we are asking the good people in 9, 10, and 11 to hurry up. If you haven't been registered yet, go and get registered. And once you get registered on election day, put your X by the hammer. You don't even have to look for a name. Because somebody don't tell me. Somebody tell me a while ago, Eric, for this campaign for 2022, use your first name only, Eric. Because they say somebody else coming to confuse the people of Gingerland. But I want to give the people of Gingerland this message. You cannot be confused. When you go to the poll, look for the hammer. Look for the hammer.
Hammer time.
Hammer time indeed. Hammer them down. So ladies and gentlemen, we want to make it clear to you that this election, your CCM candidates, your 3 Hebrew boys, we will be continuing the fantastic representation that we started 2 years ago. I'm sure you hear the Honorable Mark Brantley on the Mark program talking about the number of countries that he have done visa waivers with. And because of his hard work, why our passport is now the strongest in the region. It's his work. It's his work and his team at Foreign Affairs. And after making it the strongest, they still want to rob us of what is rightfully ours. We're getting a measly $400 million. And Bastille keeping $5 billion. You hear that? 5 billion compared to 400 million. You know how much things we can do in Nevis? And that is why you must rally with us. Because when good comes, it comes for the entire island. It comes for St. George. It comes for Nevis 9. It comes for Nevis 10. It comes for Nevis 11. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want us all in this upcoming election to rally. Rally and rally and rally. This blue, the hammer, it's hammer time. It's blue time. The big blue machine is oiled and ready. We had a fantastic launch on Saturday at the Caribbean Cove. We had a wonderful meeting on Thursday, Town Hall at the Cove. And let me just make one correction as well. That this coming Thursday, we will be going to Barnes Gut for a public meeting. This coming Thursday, we are going to Barnescott for a public meeting. And then on Saturday, we will be going to the great area of Craddock Road for another public meeting. And then the following Thursday, we go back to the Cove for the town hall. Keep your ears in tuned to when the CCM, your great party, will be having town halls and meetings. And as I say about the great area of Craddock Road, let me greet my brother, Honorable Spencer Brand, and Mrs. Brand and the rest of the family. It's nice to have you in Gingerland. People saying that up here cold, but up here is where you get all the lovely fresh breeze. Up here is where you get the nice fresh breeze. And so we are so delighted. We are so delighted that the CCM, your great party, has decided to kick off the public meetings here in Gingerland, in CCM country.
Hammer time. Hammer time. Hammer time.
It will be hammer time soon, ladies and gentlemen. And before I leave, I want, of course, you know, this area is my area, and I want to thank the Honorable Mark Brantley and the Honorable Alexis Jeffers for your very kind words tonight. Thank you very much. And I'm confident that the people of Gingerland will stick with me. But I also want to say that in Nevis 11, you have a man by the name of Alexis Jeffers. We call him the action minister in Nevis. But you know what? He also took that to Bastille as well. The action minister in St. Kitts as well. And he took it to the federal level. You have heard about his great work in the field of agriculture, in the Ministry of Agriculture. And the people down there love him as well. And so, he did not disappoint the people of Nevis 11. Never did and never will. And so I'm asking the good people of St. James and St. Thomas's. And I have a good feeling, as somebody said tonight, you know. I have a good feeling that St. Thomas is going to show up in even greater numbers for this election. Because the St. Thomas's people, they understand the issues as well. All divisions understand the issues at hand. And that is why I believe they will go out in their numbers and re-elect Alexis Jeffers so he can go back to St. Kitts to continue the fantastic work in the field of agriculture. The Honorable Mark Brantley needs absolutely no introduction. We know him. We know of his reputation. We know of the great work he has done here on the island of Nevis, the excellent management of the island through the pandemic, and we know of his record in Bastille in foreign affairs. And I always say, with no water in my mouth, that Mark A.G. Brantley is by far, the best foreign minister that the island of St. Kitts, the country of St. Kitts and Nevis, has ever seen. And he has to continue that work that he has started in 7 years. And so I'm asking the good people of St. Paul's and St. John's, continue to rally with the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley. You will. In the three of us, ladies and gentlemen, in myself, in Mark, and in Alexis, you have a dream team that will represent and represent you in style in Bastille.
CCM, no, we are doing one thing. We not follow nobody.
And you know what? We cannot overemphasize the importance of us getting back to the table and getting back in the federal government. Apart from continuing the great work in our respective ministries, ladies and gentlemen, we must be there to represent your interests, your interest. We have to do that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want us all, as we leave this meeting tonight, I want us all to spread the message across Nevis the length and breadth of Nevis, that the main issues in this election is us standing up for Nevis and divisions, and in us fighting for and getting our fair and equitable share of the CBI monies. Let it sink in. And so you're going to be hearing that message over and over and over again, because it must resonate. It must resonate across the island of Nevis that our CCM party, our representatives, will always, always stand for you and with you. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure having you here at our kickoff meeting for the public meetings tonight. And we are looking forward to your support. Wherever we go, we are asking you to come along with us. Come along with us to Barnescott next Thursday. Come with us to Craddock Road next Saturday. Come with us to the Cove the following Thursday. And keep your ears open wherever we are. You stick with us, because we pledge, we commit to sticking with you through thick and thin. We have done it in the past, and we will always do it. And that is why I will always stick with this great party, the CCM, the big blue machine. We're ready. We're sticking with CCM. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Good night. God bless. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. There's a stake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The three Hebrew boys, Alexis Jeffers in St. James and St. Thomas's, the Honorable Eric Evelyn in Gingerland, St. George's, and of course, our leader, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley in St. John's and St. Paul's. Ladies and gentlemen, what sacrifice these three gentlemen have made. The Honorable Alexis Jeffers, you will recall, gave up his U.S. citizenship to serve in this country. And now he has given up his salary in St. Kitts to further serve you, the good people of Nevis. The Honorable Eric Evelyn has given up his public service. He has served the whole of Nevis, in particular the people of Gingerland, the old, the young, and the in-between. The Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley has given up his law practice. He has stepped back from his law practice, and now he has given up his federal salary as well to serve you, to continue to serve you, the good people of Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen, I have said before and I'll say it again, this election is about Nevis's fair share. This election is about we voting under one umbrella, voting for unity, voting to ensure that Nevis gets its fair share. Ladies and gentlemen, let's ensure that no opposition at all will be in this country. We must vote overwhelmingly for the concerned citizens movement to continue the fight on behalf of the people of Nevis. I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, at the end, that, and Eric, I want to thank you for the correction, because I've been saying all night that there'll be a town hall on Thursday. I want to thank you for the correction. We shall be in Barnescott on Thursday evening. In Barnescott on Thursday evening, and in Craddock Road on Saturday evening. We continue with the public campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for coming. For you who are listening online, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube, sorry, with the WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I want to thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I want to ask you to continue to follow the Concerned Citizens Movement as we campaign throughout the length and breadth of the island of Nevis with the message, Sheffield for all. Thank you very much, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Increase the momentum, increase the momentum, increase the momentum, increase the momentum. There's a stake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. I hear he teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this